Welcome everyone to MindBody TV. I have a special guest here today, Steph Pheffer, who I'll introduce in a moment. I'm going to share today about the future of medicine. And Nikola Tesla had said the future of medicine will be vibration and frequency. He understood the quantum field. He understood we are pure energy and understood that, a 2% quantum tweak, a minor quantum shift creates a massive physical shift. And so it's not about turning your liver into a cat. It's the diseased liver cells, the cancerous liver cells into healthy, vibrant liver cells. And that's a quantum shift. And so I wanted to have Steph come on today to talk about what she's doing and talk about the technology she's using, but that we could have a conversation about what is healing at this level. Why is this the future of medicine, and how you can begin to participate in this in your own quantum embodiment to allow quantum shifts, to allow the 2% shift that allows the massive physical shift to happen for you, whether it's in your health or it's in your relationships or your money or your lifestyle. And Steph is a great example of that because she has had massive quantum shifts in her own being and her own consciousness that have translated to huge shifts in her health and resolving illness, but also in her family and major obstacles that were like impossible, insurmountable, and then finding the resilience to have amazing opportunities, possibilities, and new methods of healing open up that have really changed her life. So thank you guys for being here for MindBody TV, and I'd love to hear where you're tuning in from in the world. How did you find us? And what does this mean to you? Vibration, frequency, quantum medicine. Is this something you're at all versed with? Are you interested in this? Does this spark your interest? Is it something that's like, what? I'm not really sure what this is about. It's very new. So we want to hear from you as we're going. And I'd like to introduce Steph. Thank you so much for being here and for coming forward to share your story and share the medicine you are now using with other people.
I am very excited to be here. And as probably most of your audience knows, you emanate a vibration or a series of vibrations around enthusiasm, excitement, openness, very different frequencies or vibrations from neutrality or sadness, grief, bitterness, all of that. So what's exciting is that we now are starting to I think even lay people, it's getting out there now more and more to the conscious awareness that we have the ability to shift our frequencies. And we can probably best understand that as tied to our emotions. So each emotion has different frequencies. And I know that you have talked about this before. The man who wrote Power versus Force
Yes,
has the
David
whole
Hawkins,
Yes, the whole
MD,
beautiful
physician.
scale. It
Yes.
it's very beautiful, and it gives people a visual and an understanding of emotions tied to frequencies. And you could do all kinds of activities or exercises to begin to understand, oh, what does joy feel like versus what does hopelessness or sadness or depression, so that people can start to get it somatically. And I'm a big person with visuals, Kim. So I'm going to have some props that I'm going to use today as we move along to help people play a little bit as well as have some visuals. So as you mentioned earlier, I think in your opening, we have a human body, right? And we have somatic experiences. And another big thing that's coming to awareness now is somatic healing, that all of our emotions and our feelings at some point, they come in through the computer brain, probably rapidly, but then you feel it. Like if you have a sick feeling in your stomach, or you have an excited little skip in your step, okay? Our human bodies are beautiful channels to experience what's going on from an emotional standpoint. So as each emotion comes in and it has a different frequency or a different feel, it also though lands in your body and your cells and your tissues and all of it. So there's good news and bad news with that, right? If you don't know what you don't know and you're entirely unaware, you potentially could be running around with a body filled with all of these experiences, emotions, and in many cases, it's ones that you don't want, that are not allowing you to have the life the experiences, the joy, whatever it is that a person would want now at this phase of their life, right? So when we come in, we're like little sponges initially, little babies flailing about, and we're going to absorb, right? Maybe for the first 7 years, there's not pure, clean neuroscience on this, but so the sponge is starting to absorb, right? And what it's taking is it's taking in from your tribe, your family. Okay. So you come in as like a little baby potato head, and you are listening and smelling and hearing and seeing how people run the show in your environment. Okay. You very quickly begin to learn how to survive within the system. It's very important, okay,
Yeah.
to survive. And then as you go through and you're embodying, and in your brain and in your human body, you're learning the beliefs, the values, the behaviors, what's expected of you. And then what happens is you have begun to be formed in the vision and version of your tribe, right? Okay. So guess what? Our tribe does pink purses, and that's that. And that's how we look, and we do red lips. Okay. So a lot of this is coming in subconsciously, and it's being programmed. You don't even have an idea of what's being programmed, right? So you go about your development, go to school, you go to high school, after elementary school, whatever it is. And then all of a sudden you wake up one day and your life isn't working for you, right? But you don't realize, oh my gosh, all this programming has come into me. It's in my subconscious now. It's running the show nonstop. And I'd like to tweak and make some changes. I just don't know how to do that. And this is now, I think, with what the field of quantum physics and healing and medicine is going to be giving us massive, it's already here, massive tools to go in and reprogram and change and literally heal your body, change your brain, change your thoughts, your behavior, how you're creating, and create the life you want as the big potato head. What do I want? I don't know. Am I allowed to want things? I didn't know I was allowed to want things. Did you have a question?
To tune in and to tune into the how do I know what I want? Well, from disconnection, we really don't. How do I tune in to get the awareness of what's my life purpose? What's my soul's purpose? What will make me more alive? What will invite more joy into my life? And I know this, you and I've worked together. You were in the Be the Medicine program years back and really sparked your life. You're one of the most enthusiastic people that we've had in that program. And you've really let yourself like take that and run and find like what's my inspiration. I want to help people. I want to assist awakening. And will you share a little bit about your journey with this? Because once you opened to the what do I want, yes, it was all in service to like the world.
Mm-hmm.
It has to center on your being of like what makes me more fully alive. And then the pathway to that opened. You found these modalities you're
Mm-hmm.
now using. Will you talk about like how that journey was from going from like, it's not there, what do I do with my life, to, oh, I'm excited. What do I want? Who am I? And then the path showed up for you. You chose it. But like, what was that journey like to let that in?
So, like for most people, the stories I hear is for most people, what for me, the visual is cracks you open or breaks you open is usually that either a health experience for yourself or your child or your loved family member. It can be loss of a job, it can be bankruptcy. There's a number of big ways to crack you open. So, ours was on a medical journey with one of our children, Lyme, co-infections, brain inflammation, mental health issues off the chart, in which the decision of staying on the planet or leaving was on the table. Okay. So as a mother, cracks you open. You have the opportunity in that moment or series of moments or years to decide, what glasses am I going to look through? How am I going to feel this? What tools are out there? And it was a pivotal moment for me that, and thank goodness I was in your Be the Medicine program, because you helped me to frame it and orient it and sit with all of that. And that was key. Instead of running from it, bargaining from it, distracting from it, which I had been the master at. I mean, that's what I had learned, and it was fabulous. So along that journey, the way you helped, well, all of us in the class, but frame it, I decided, okay, so how to be the medicine. Okay, that makes sense to me. And then the how and some of the tools were what started to surface too, as I was open to, okay, I can play with this. And that's when some of this started coming in with the AO scanner and the quantum frequencies and shifting of that and the tools. Yes, they are tools outside of yourself, but they help to reactivate and reinitiate and open your own power. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, we are the scanner. We
Yeah.
are the quartz crystal.
Yeah.
We are the quantum physics,
I mean,
right?
ultimately, nothing is outside of yourself. You know, the small self, yeah, it's very confusing. You're in duality. When we enter
Right.
the capital S self and we create from there, all kinds of resources show up for us created by our system. And it's like ding, 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 the AO scanner. And I love that it's an alpha omega scanner. So I want to just touch base on that briefly. It's created by a company called Solex that has a lot of modalities for quantum healing. And I think, this is a really big leader for the future of medicine because they get that small quantum shift creates major, major shifts in your life. And I do want to talk more about how that's happened for you. For me, I had an experience with you, and we did the work. It's super easy. It's remote, and I felt it profoundly for a significant amount of time, and it really created a resonance to allow, and it assisted a lot of stuff I was doing to allow the dissolution of like a big layer that is not who I am, a big layer that is not going forward into my next evolution and my next stage, a big layer that, how do we dissolve that on our own? Well, with what we're doing in mind body medicine, intention, presence, and then it will bring in modalities, support people. You randomly messaged me, and I was like, ding, 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 ding. Yes, we're doing this. Whatever this is, I could feel the resonance of like this invitation. And I'm like, yeah. And then you did some for Gemma as well. And she was totally into it. And so it's fun, it's easy. And I think that's a big difference between the medicine of the past, which is not so fun, not easy, doesn't actually create healing. It will just kind of like allay the symptoms. It doesn't actually create health. It will just like, you're not going to die in this 10 seconds. We're just going to, suppress the symptoms. So these modalities that actually support health. And I know no matter how many severe, life-threatening, horrifying things that are going on in the world today, with the acceleration in consciousness we're having and the new modalities and technologies that are already created, it will allow a major full planetary quantum shift. And I've certainly experienced that, and it was amazing. So will you just talk about what the AO scanner is and like how this technology works?
Absolutely. So the beauty of this is that this has actually been around for quite some time. The founder has a whole video out there on how he came upon it. He himself was very motivated. He and his wife had adopted a son who had, I think it was multiple sclerosis, or I have to say cystic fibrosis, something you don't want your child to bear and play out the rest of their life. So they were heavily motivated. I think this was back in the 80s. And they traveled to different locations because they weren't willing to accept just what they were told, which was, hey, the body's going to deteriorate. You have a horrible life. They're like, no, thank you. So they started exploring and went to different countries. And what they did find was, which I think is fascinating, they found in Russia a technology that the Russian scientists had used to communicate with the cosmonauts. I think that's what they call their people, cosmonauts, because we all know we send astronauts, cosmonauts up, right? So how do we communicate with them? So they already had the science and technology. I mean, not just their scientists, but ours as well. Okay. And they were using it to assess health at the time of their cosmonauts. He stumbled across this technology because they were on this grand search to help his son heal. And what he found was once once things shifted culturally and he references how the wall came down, he was able to purchase aspects of that technology, bring it back here, update it as Microsoft was going through its iterations. And he was able to develop a scanner alongside with a piece he already had, which was called the inner voice. So let me just jump into the inner voice really quickly. Our voice conveys so much information about us. We might try to present a certain way and think we're either fooling or we're doing imposter syndrome or what have you, but the voice conveys information and it uses different tones and notes, and that is tied to your emotions. So like if I thought right now, if I thought about the journey we had been on, right there, your voice starts to change. So a whole trigger comes in, right? Versus where we are now and the progress and the health and the beautiful, abundant life. Your voice is the carrier of the sound and your emotions, right? Lauren had already developed the technology. He was just in the process of refining it to where we are now. So what the inner voice does is it captures about 10 seconds of data, and it lets you know from an emotion standpoint what is excessive, like we're trying to really, and what we're suppressing through the 10 seconds of data in our voice as we speak to the device. Did you have
You
a
can
question?
hear it. You can hear, especially people who deeply, deeply listen and get really present. You can hear the difference between, yeah, I'm okay. And your kid is like not okay at all versus like, I'm okay. And you can feel a certainty. You already do this, but this is like on a much deeper level. When I listen to people, there's just so much information that comes in the voice, and you can let yourself receive the awareness of that. And then this device is just doing the same thing. It's quantifying that information and the frequency of the consciousness you're in, and like recalibrating you to the consciousness that's higher. You're in more ease, you're in more peace, you're letting in flow, you're letting in love, you're letting in life force, and allows you to move into that consciousness and into that embodiment. So it's kind of like a antidote. It's like a technology that allows that quantum shift in a very specific way to you.
Right, because as it identifies what's being presented in your voice, okay, which we can't out trick, like a lie detector test is a great example in terms of it just detects a series of things going on, right? Okay, so it's presenting and telling you what it detects, but it doesn't stop there. It's going to give you, as you said, the antidote through music, because we are profoundly, as human beings, affected by music. So it's going to pick up over 12 notes, the most heavily expressed, the top 3 notes, and then the one that you're suppressing. You're trying to, I am not showing that to anybody in the world today, okay? Because the goal is to then counterbalance, bring you to homeostasis, so that the more balanced you are, you then make your decisions, you problem solve, you show up for your relationships, which is such a beautiful thing to come from. Now, we're not trying to just flatten someone out and make you so neutral that you are perfectly able to see everything like maybe the most evolved person on the planet. We are trying to smooth out some of the and then bring up some of the lower frequencies, okay? So that we can balance and lead from that across every facet of your life. And we use music and healing tunes for that.
I'm excited to do more sessions with you because when I did it, it was so profound, and I was at a very heightened state of clarity, of well-being. A lot got created through that. And like I said, a lot got dissolved through that in the weeks following. I just want to add, it's so fascinating that you gave me this shirt last time I saw you. We share clothes. And it's
And a
exactly
live woman, a live woman.
at that live women retreat I held, and you're like, "This isn't really for me, but I think it'd be great for you." And I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna put that shirt on that Steph gave me." And your couch is the exactly precisely same color,
You
and then
are
you
right.
the light shirt on, and I have like a light background, and I just keep looking at that like, what a coherent like mirror and a serendipitous connection, and it's fun. And I know, like, when people are in your vibe, and when you're open, your energy system is open, there's like, I mean, that's a minor little serendipity that's fun, but there's major stuff that also go along with that, like right place, right time, making a phone call. I had somebody message me yesterday, and it just happened to be when I had like 3.5 minutes of one kid's asleep in the back. My other child was coming out and I was waiting for her. And he's like, hey, if you have like 3 minutes sometime, give me a call to talk about something. And I immediately called him and was like, I have 3 minutes right now. Go. And it was this freaking awesome conversation and connection. And so, the point is, like, when we're in that higher frequency, a lot of life takes care of us, and things happen for us. And will you share, like, specifically what you've seen with this technology and using it with other people or with yourself, what you've seen as a result of this kind of quantum shift?
Yes, and I do want to touch on something you just said about how when you're in flow and the 3.5 minutes and the call, the flip side of that is if something doesn't go your way, or if something doesn't work, or if there's a piece of technology, or there's something that's going to cause you to be late. I think it's a false assumption that, okay, this isn't working right. If you can expand and open the aperture and see and not judge it. Oh, this was supposed to happen. The technology wasn't supposed to work. Like the other day, I was trying to connect with someone and she was having beastly technology things. And she was, of course, getting impacted because she also had things to do and clients to see, et cetera, et cetera. But if you're open to the possibility that under the paradigm, as you said, it's happening for you, not to you, because goodness knows we were not given that paradigm when we were babies, right? We were not told, and it's interesting because the technology, and I'll do the segue, it could help shift this, in that if when we came into our life and every family understood and was able to share, this is all happening for us, not to us. That one big paradigm would so greatly impact what is called victim mentality of it's happening to me versus for me. So I just want to throw out there that if things aren't going your way and there's some glitches or whatever, yay, thank you, because there's a higher power that somehow is trying to help you, and don't judge it. Flow with it as best you can, and then it can start to loosen up and then do what we label flow. So I just want to throw that out there as well too. Okay, so back to your original question,
What
which
I
was,
want to insert
oh
too,
yeah,
it was
yes.
cerebral palsy the founder's child had, which is like, not enough blood flow to the brain at birth. That's sometimes the cause of that. It's where parts of the brain are not working and deficient, and that can have massive lifelong consequences on functionality. And they were able to use this. This is so powerful, like, to use frequency technology to approach that and see improvement and see a healing beyond what doctors had ever imagined possible. And, another thing about the future of medicine is it's getting created from within the awakening of individuals, meaning, wow, I had this
Mm,
horrible health crisis and I looked under every stone and I opened up in ways I never thought I'd be open, and I found things I never imagined possible. And then they create a whole foundation of work, like the body code, emotion code, or theta healing, or what I'm doing in mind body medicine, or like there's like dozens and dozens and dozens of things. But it's an organic awakening from a new dimension of consciousness we access when shit hits the fan, and like the regularly scheduled program gets canceled, and you realize, whoa, I've got to open. And that cracking open is how these things are getting created, not through like some institution that was kind of hijacked over 100 years ago and is like actually giving us this falsified version of what's real science or what's really possible. This is going to be an organic, alive creation that we find from within, and we create from the wisdom within. And collaborating to do that is really, what's going to create a new system. But yes, please go ahead and share what you have been seeing.
okay, so the AO scanner has many, and it's a work in progress, and Lauren and his team constantly says it. We are always going to be progressing. We're always going to be expanding. We're always going to be moving outward, pushing the edges and bringing in what we're learning. Okay, so within that, the AO scanner scans It scans vitals, tissues, organs, cells, muscle, digestion, all of it. The part that I love, and there are many NPs and Ds and chiropractors who use some of the more, I guess, what I would call technical, okay, or reports. What lights me up and the part that I love and have shared with you is the inner voice and mind sync. Okay. So getting back to the brain basically absorbing all the stuff, it going down to the subconscious is running the show. We don't even have any idea on any given day what's driving us or pushing us forward. We just may have a vague sense of like, whether on we or I don't, this is not my life. How did I get here? How did I get here? So I love the mind sync piece. And what I'm saying, Kim, like anything with anybody who does anything with continuity, if you wanted to develop a bicep muscle, you would pick up a weight and you would do your bicep exercises X amount of times with whatever weight. You have to use it, right, to retrain the muscle. So to retrain the brain and your beliefs and your thoughts using mind sync for people that use it, what I've seen is people, your behaviors change because it goes in, you choose in your own voice. And there's a tremendous empowerment when you yourself, going back to reminding people how powerful they are. My goal is for people to develop, discover, enjoy, play with their own guru, their own divinity, their own light, not to outsource it out to everybody else all the time. So when you start to reprogram with your own voice using the Mind Sync AO scan technology, you start to retrain your beliefs. We can't get rid of and uncover. We're not trying to figure out every single thing that's there. We're just trying to download a new operating system like you would for your computer, right? Why run off of 2, 3 old operating systems? Pick what you want in your own voice, reprogram, whether it's about health, prosperity, joy, relationships. We have a series of programs already written out for people with affirmations, but people that are doing that are seeing their lives change because their behaviors are changing. Your thoughts and your emotions directly impact your behaviors.
Well, I know people are saying like who didn't believe in this, which is not a prerequisite. I got my energy back. I was so exhausted or I was feeling sick. And then we're doing this process, and having their energy back or someone's like, I had a new body within 10 minutes. And so the level of speed you can allow a physical shift when you shift something at the quantum level is way, way, way beyond what happens when you shift just at the physical level. Like, hey, let's give you this hormone, let's give you this drug, let's give you lots of energy drinks. It's a whole different way. It's not necessarily healing anything, but when we allow quantum shifts, sometimes it's very, very quick. You'll feel lighter, you'll feel more uplifted. I felt it right away. And over the next several days, very solidly like grounded into a new consciousness. And then I think it's up to you who you become, what your habits and behaviors are, that you either keep that and you keep strengthening that and residing in that and you integrate that into who you are, or yeah, you just keep going back to like, I don't know, abusive behaviors or like being checked out or lying, not fully telling the truth, like habits and behaviors that decrease your frequency. You're not necessarily going to sustain it. And so it's not like a
Right.
band-aid, just like keep being who you are. It's actually a catalyst to become who you truly are and to trust the truth and to choose from the heart and to make faith-based choices, but I just call them like heart-based, certainty-based choices, to be courageous and start living from your true self. And I think that's getting a little easier and easier year by year because more people are awakening and more people are seeing the light and more people are allowing their authentic light to shine. Do you have any last things you want to touch on? I want to show people, and I'll put links in here where they
Okay.
can find you. I really like, yes, that they can buy the technology. It's not super expensive. Like I remember when I bought technology like this before, it was thousands and thousands of dollars, and it was pretty complicated. I really liked it, but eventually I had my own patterns within my system that did that work for me. So I sort of grew out of that. I like that this is not like a massive, huge leap of huge money investment for people. But I also love that they can just do sessions with you where you're utilizing the technology with them. And for me personally, that's where I want to go more in that direction. because it's supportive to everything I'm already doing.
Yes.
It's enhancing what I'm already intending and making choices toward. So will you share, I know your link is healing through embodiment, THRU, healing THRU through embodiment, EMBODIMENT.com. What last pieces do you want to share as we complete that? I know there's a lot and we didn't touch on.
That's okay. I mean, yeah, we could talk for years. Um, so the basics of the brain, I was listening to something last night again, and so all of these pathways, okay, the way the brain works, basically, I'm doing a very quick drive-by with regards to hypnotherapy and mind sync. So over time, you have your thoughts. And hey, the brain knows how to fire the electrical impulses, all that. That's great. Okay. Some of these thoughts aren't for your best and highest good. They're not helping you create the life you want. So, what the technology helps you to do is to relax and get in a very focused theta brainwave state so you can focus on the words. Okay, that's part of it. But the technology itself is creating something called an offset. It's binaural technology. It's using both ears. That's what the binaural thing. It's not binaural beats, but it's using both ears. It's coming in. Your voice comes in at 1 hertz. The other ear comes in at another hertz. The differential is 8. Okay, so that's like the top part of your theta waves where there can be tremendous learning, but there is a focus and there's a relaxation. And with the energy and the emotions that we're going to record your affirmations with, that's how it's going to start to create new neural pathways. Not the same, oh, I'm not enough. I don't deserve it. Everybody else could have it be whatever it is you're telling yourself and has been programmed and is running those lines. It starts to create the new pathways. And it's beautiful. These new systems, these new highways in your brain so that you can have some different thoughts and then the behaviors effortlessly, if you're willing to listen, follow. That's the beauty of it. We're just working with the brain as is and your emotions.
I love, I've worked with theta healing for years and years and years and years, and didn't know that that's what it was, but bringing people into a much deeper space where there's receptivity. A lot of times people don't realize like you cannot change the problem from the same frequency and consciousness where it exists. You've got to come into a higher consciousness. And so slowing the brain waves down and coming even into slow beta or alpha or yeah, all the way down to theta allows you to absorb new information in a deeply accelerated way. And that's why like theta healing is a whole body of work where you're like utilizing that theta state, that state of deep receptivity to connect with creator consciousness, the life force that
Mhm.
constantly flowing through you in a deeper way, letting it in a deeper way. It prioritizes the healing. It prioritizes, what needs to happen. And that's really what we're allowing with this technology, which is why I was excited to have you come on and not only talk about the resources, but also just the science behind this of like, this is the medicine of the future. It's frequency and vibration, like Nikola Tesla had said so long ago. And many, many doctors are now awakening to and kind of jumping ship from the system that is not frequency based at all to begin to explore on our own because the things that are being found today in medical science, they're not going to show up in a textbook. It's about 30 years for something to finally appear in a textbook. And
Absolutely.
30 years to like wait around to heal MS or cancer or, fill in the blank. And I know you've had a huge healing with your family as well. That was a true miracle. Um, and that I loved your post the other day. I think it was on Instagram, and you're like, yeah, I went in for a job interview and told him here's what I
Ugh,
want. And hey, guess what? That's what I'm doing. I'm in this, situation where I can assert my own efforts. I can work based on my own clarity, and I'm creating my lifestyle based on what I love to do and what I'm best at. And so I'm glad you welcomed that kind of opportunity into your life. Like when we vibe at a higher frequency, new opportunities come in.
absolutely.
And so
Absolutely. Well, wait, and you asked, and I just want to say that what we're finding with people who are doing the inner voice and the mind sync as well as your ability to concentrate, your focus, and mindfulness is really an emotional intelligence for some people too, because if you are able to be emotionally intelligent, then you can read your relationships better. You can read your business clients better. You can show up more. And then creativity too is very, very important, and resilience, because when we need to pivot because the polarity of it's not going our way, are we drained, or do we, oh, okay. And thoughts open up for us to help resolve and change and move in a different direction. Yes, I am very, very excited about quantum physics, about us learning about it, being receptive to it, hitting mainstream, and this technology, the AO scanner.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into MindBody TV, whether you're here live or you're listening to the replay. Type in how this landed for you. What questions do you have? You can reach out to Steph at healingthroughembodiment.com, healing through, THRU, embodiment.com. She's also in the MindBody community. And yeah, I think this is just something that is one of many things that is going to really serve the planet in our global expansion, acceleration, and becoming into like a higher version of what it means to be human. So I'm glad to have you guys here with me and with us, and to be sharing powerful, real healing technologies for a conscious medical system, which is one that assists everyone in living their highest vitality. Health and wealth are the same frequency. They're not separate. And it is something that is within us. And these kinds of technologies open that up and let us experience it more fully. So that's what I am here to do as a physician. That's why I created MindBody TV. So thank you. Share this video with others. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe, so you will be posted when we go live. I'm at drkimd.com. We actually do have another offering of Be the Medicine in the fall. So I will share the link with you for that. If you're interested, you can email me. And this is really for practitioners, people who are awakening and realizing like, whoa, I have a greater purpose. What is it? Getting the clarity, creating the systems and structures, being open like a sponge to receive opportunities and amazing things that you are here to support humanity with. So it's not a pipe dream. It's what you're really meant to live. And we're here every week at 11 a.m. on Wednesdays, Mountain Time, for MindBody TV. Thank you so much, Steph, for being here.
Thank you. I am excited for the planet, for all of us.
Me too. Lots of love, everybody, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Welcome. Thank you for tuning in to MindBody TV. I would love to hear from you. Post a comment with any question, insight, aha, or just to say hello. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that subscribe button so you stay tuned for weekly episodes. I'll see you next week.